What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Sorry for that little bit of a weird glitch with the music just there. Welcome to the Dixie Show. It's been a long time, probably about a month and a half since we've had another Dixie Show. That is due to hell of a lot of elections and campaigning. Like I said, we had me personally. I had the governor, the governor election during the state elections in Dixie, and then I also had the federal elections in Dixie 4. So yeah, we've been pretty busy within this, we've been pretty busy around the office lately, so I haven't been able to do an actual show with you guys. But today we're going to be doing a show. We have a couple topics to talk about. I know it's a little late. We're a week behind, but we do have election results, and we'll be talking about what could have possibly swung these elections, what the candidate did well, what each candidate did well on, and why that candidate who won. We'll be talking about that. We also have Dixie nominations because remember, this is the Dixie Show. We don't really care about other states, really. But we do have Dixie nominations. We'll be talking about the Secretary of Finances and Infrastructure, and we will also be talking about the Secretary of Education, Health, Labor, and Human Services. On top of that, we also will be talking about a couple things in Dixie as well, just some updates, and then we'll also be talking about just some news from other states. We'll throw some in there. All right. So let's get started. We're going to be talking about just the elections. This election season was weird. I don't know if you guys saw the Onion, Model US The Onion. I don't know if you would call them fake news or not. Definitely an opinion poll, or definitely an opinion topic they've been posting. Hilarious stuff, to be fair. 300% polling change just apparently is one of their topics. Quitting polls not really doing a great job. Don't worry though, the Blaze will get you, have you covered with our polls. If you guys go and check us out on our main Reddit, ModelUSTheBlaze, we are doing an opinion poll right now of the president, the vice president, the Speaker of the House, Senate Majority Leader, all these different positions. So go ahead and check us out there. Do the opinion poll. I urge you guys to do the opinion poll. It will give us a good idea of where people stand within the state, within the nation, on how the president's doing, the vice president's doing, all these different politicians are doing. As recently, you guys all have known, I'm no longer a representative. I am now an assemblyman in this state. I'd rather be an assemblyman in this state, rather be in the state rather than the federal level, because I don't know, I just don't like really being in the House. I don't know why. I don't like the federal. I don't feel like I'm serving the people of Dixie very well, being in Washington and whatnot. I feel like I can do a better job here in Dixie. As you all know, I did propose a few bills. I proposed the Veterans First Act. I proposed a bill that would completely change the way that nuclear waste is regulated. It would be harsher regulations on nuclear waste. As you all know, I am a supporter of nuclear power. However, I'm not a supporter of deregulating the regulations on nuclear waste. That it's something that's terrible. That bill would also create an underground vault about a mile down, and it would and we would store the nuclear waste down there. Kind of like what Finland's doing. So yeah. And then the other bill I proposed was a Hurricane Barry Relief Act. I was the only one actually who really cared about Dixie in the House. And I will call out my fellow Republicans on this because I am ashamed of how no one acted at all about Hurricane Barry. The only person that really acted was Governor Blankenstein, and I'll give him credit for that, calling a state of emergency. He's the only one that really cared, other than me, on the federal level. And that is not fair to the people of Dixie. I will not stand for that. I will call out my fellow Republicans because you know what? I'm not scared to. Because here's the thing. I don't believe in this partisan, being, only strictly for the party. Okay? Mind you, I don't know if you guys recently heard, but I am now the chairman of the America First Caucus, and we're completely doing a 180 of what the America First Caucus was. And it is no longer going to be the disgusting caucus it used to be. We're going down a righteous path. We're going down a path of, pro-immigration, but, still having that border security. When we're also going down a a more moderate approach to things. So just keep your eye out for our caucus platform. But like I'm trying to keep the caucus and myself as a whole going for what the people want and what they need. I don't care really for what the party wants me to do. They can whip vote me all they want and they can punish me if I go against a whip vote, but here's the thing, I vote for what the people need and what the people want. And if you want to sit there and say that I'm wrong as a Republican to do that, then you know what? So be it. But you know what? I think you're wrong for not caring enough for Dixie. Okay? And I won't call out my fellow assemblyman Make because he wasn't there when Hurricane Barry hit. But Representative Flam, Representative Drone, and Senator Dexter Ammo and Senator Prelate, or Prelate, however you want to pronounce it, did nothing. Did nothing. And I'm not very happy that no one else cared to help. And it really is disgusting. I'll call out Democrats all day too. I'll call anyone out really, because you know what? Here's the thing: when you're a representative, you don't represent the party. You represent the people that elected you, and that is how I'm going to serve as an assemblyman. And that's also how I'm going to serve as the regional director of Dixie for the Republican Party. It's what the people need and what the people want, not what the party exactly needs. Yes, don't get me wrong. I would love to see a GOP assembly, a GOP governor in Dixie, a GOP lieutenant governor. I love to see the GOP holding it, but at the same time, I'd rather see. I want to see Dixie in a place where the people that voted me in want it to be, and I'm not. That's how I feel. I'm more moderate than I used to be. So, anyways, we're going off topic here. We do have election results, and we're going to get into them right away. We're going to be starting off with the most controversial one, the tightest one that no one really expected to happen. We're going to be going to the AC, the Atlantic State Senate race. Senator Guns, now, as he is now called, won this, but not a landslide, but definitely within that 3% margin of error that the polls were showing. At the start, he was behind, but he won those. It's weird that he won this. He won the areas that have the most population. It's weird. He won those suburbs and a lot of the rural area. Now, I'm going to explain why this probably happened. And, you can call me wrong and whatever you want. This is how I feel. And to be fair, I think Dewey should be ashamed of himself. Dewey Cheatham posted this poster around AC. Look at that smile. When you have a smile and a hairdo like that, to be fair, you don't know what's going to come out of their mouth or what's going to come out of their brain when it comes to ideas. But this ad was posted by him. I believe it's a poster. The time has come for us to execute the billionaires, seize their wealth, and end poverty. Senator Dewey Cheatham. You're calling for the execution of civilians here, okay? Business owners, people that are innocent of any crime. What is there a crime to be successful in a capitalist nation? What crime did they commit that they deserve to be executed? What capital punishment did they commit, Dewey? Seize their wealth. I'm sorry, but why? What crime exactly prohibits you to seize their wealth? And here in Dixie, we completely abolished civil assets forfeiture. Police can no longer seize your money from you because they might suspect it was part of a crime. No, you can go get yourself a warrant officer, right? And I am proud that I am the author of that bill. I am proud of Dixie as a whole for passing that bill. See, if Dewey wishes, if he wishes that in Dixie, it's not going to happen because we will not seize your wealth because of something you did not do unless they have a warrant. And end poverty. You know how you end poverty, Dewey? Do you want to know how you seriously end poverty? You support a capitalist. You support capitalism. You support the idea of expanding jobs, giving these people jobs so they can gain, earn a decent paycheck. All right. I don't know if you've known this Dewey, quote unquote Senator Dewey Cheatham, but every single socialist nation I've seen, we can go to Venezuela where they're in poverty, they're running over their people. We can go over to the USSR, which is no longer a thing. They were communists, all right? They're no longer a thing. I mean, all these communist ideas that are within the Socialist Party won't work. I'm sorry. And you say socialist, it's really the same thing. I hate to say it. It really is. You mean, and if you really want to sit, like, I know of some socialists out there that will claim that, oh, well, we got to be like Denmark, we got to be like Norway, we got to be like Sweden. They're not socialists, all right? Yeah, universal health care, it's not completely socialist. Don't get me wrong, I like the idea of providing and helping those who are in dire need. That's why I don't believe in getting rid of welfare completely. However, I think welfare needs to be revised and needs to be reformed heavily. There's people that abuse the heck out of the welfare system, and I think that should be definitely checked out. But this ad right here is not the way to go, Dewey. And I hate to say it, but I believe you just gave more fuel and added more fuel to the fire for Senator Guns now to just sweep up those votes easily. I mean, those extra votes that he needed. He almost won. He won by over 300,000. I mean, and like, I'm sorry, but it wasn't a good take on that ad. So, anyways, moving on, we have another controversial race. Well, very tight race from what we saw. We thought. Now we're going to be moving over to the Sierra Senate race. My good friend Joseph Idney, congratulations. He won the Senate race here over his Aaron. Remember, last election he lost his Aaron, but he pulled ahead this one, and there are some reasons why to this. One, I think he pleased the youth very well with how he pulled off these campaign events that he had. Remember, I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but he did a model government simulation in Oregon, in the capital, invited the youth to come and practice and pretend like they're in the government, learn how to write bills and everything. I think that pleased a lot of the youth. He also had a Yu-Gi-Oh challenge. He challenged Zarin to a Yu-Gi-Oh battle. Now, I don't know the results of that fully. However, him challenging Zarin, I feel like not only did it help Zarin a little bit stay neck and neck with him, however, I think Joseph really pulled ahead by pleasing the youth on this one. The Yu-Gi-Oh, card battles in general, card games like Magic, The Gathering, Pokemon, all that. That is very heavy with the youth. When I was in Boy Scouts, I know that Magic was just coming out and whatnot, and we played the heck out of it. So I feel like he pleased the youth very well on this one. The youth voters that are able to vote, obviously. I also feel like a lot of his other events were just very, very neck on. He basically went out and said, "Hey, we need to end domestic abuse," and I feel like that also was a key point that might have helped him out a lot. I don't know. I feel like Joseph just had better campaign events than Zarin. So congratulations, Joseph. He won this race. And then next one, this one I have no clue how this was really, like, I don't understand how the results came for this one. But Dexter AMO, again, I'm not even trying to like joke here or kid here, but the GOP swept the Senate. Like, they didn't sweep the House like they wanted to. We didn't sweep it like we wanted to. However, we got 7 Senate seats out of that. Like, that's a lot of Senate seats there. We are the supermajority now. And, I think that's something that everyone should look upon. Well, we have 7 seats now in the Senate. But still, that is a huge gain from what we had. We held. So what we held was the Lincoln race. We did not hold. We lost Chesapeake, but we gained in Sierra and AC, which were big. And then we also held in Dixie. So I feel like this was a good vote. Dexter won a lot of the rural areas. He won Florida. He was pulling ahead in Florida, and he pulled ahead in Alabama, I believe. in Georgia, but I don't know about I know that he got a lot of rural areas in Texas, and whatnot. I know that our campaigns really were aligned with each other. I know a lot of the GOP's campaigns were aligned with each other. But again, congratulations, Dexter. Now still Senator Dexter. Sadly, cold brews. You know, he didn't do well in the governor race. I think he just gave up. He lost this race. I feel really bad. He was doing really well. And, you know, I mean, what contributed to this though was, to be fair, both of them just had a very tight schedule. They weren't able to get as many events out as some of us smaller guys. You mean them having to travel around the whole state while some of us just had to, you know, stay in our congressional district. So yeah, it was definitely something that I think I thought Cold was going to win. I won't even lie. I thought Cold Brews was going to win this. Sadly, he did not. Dexter won by a point, literally by 1%, and it is amazing. He won. I'm not gonna do the math, but he definitely won more by more than 1%. It's still a very close race. I think the closest race that we had for the Senate race. DDYT holding. I don't have the results up right now for that. Didn't have time to make them. However, I think that was a good run too. He came out of nowhere. It's like his opponent was pumping out events, and DDYT just came out with really good advertisements. I mean, and good video advertisements. I think that made him pull ahead. So, anyways, let's stop talking about the elections now. That's old school. That's old news now. Week old. Well, we're gonna move on to nominations now. Definitely something that we should be talking about. We have 2 nominations up. We have the Secretary of Education, Health, Labor, and Human Services. That position needs to be filled, and Governor Block Denied has nominated Fur Coat Blues, the former BMP representative from the 4th District of Dixie. If you guys remember, he really wasn't that active in the House. He was there for votes, but he didn't propose any bills. He didn't do really much. And I called him out on it. I did. When we had his interview, I called him out on it, and he explained, like, I don't like it. I didn't like it that much. I didn't want to do it anymore. So he passed down the position. He passed the torch down to APG, which I respect. And I can definitely understand why he wishes to be on the Dixie level. I don't disagree with him on it. Personally, I think it was a good choice. Definitely give it to a new guy. Definitely support APG, even though mine and his campaign were definitely neck and neck and very hateful towards each other. After talking to him personally, on the cell phone after the election results came out, I got to like him a lot more. He even said that some of my campaigns were very well done, and he thought I was going to win. But you know what? Sometimes the new people, the underdogs, come out of nowheres and beat you. And you know what? That's what I like about democracy. You mean I thought I was going to win it, but hey, I got outplayed by a young guy. You mean a new guy, which, to be fair, he deserves it. I didn't like it. To be fair, I don't like the House. I will admit, I don't like the House. I don't like how I don't feel like I'm not giving it back to Dixie, the people that really support me. So that's why I really came back to the Assembly. Plus, I want to win back the Assembly for us. So, yeah. And Block Denied, don't you worry. I'm coming after your ass. Coming after that freaking. That I'm gonna have my rear end sitting in your office seat. Don't you worry, bud. Anyways, no more banter. We talked. Me and Fur Coat Blues talked. He explained that he didn't like the House at all. Don't blame him. I honestly don't blame him. And he does have some good plans. Well, not to me, but good plans on what he believes are good plans. Banana Republic, Assemblyman Banana Republic, the socialist. He asked him a few questions. One of them was about public health care, and Fur Coat Blues just basically explained, yeah, I'm a supporter of public health care. He also asked about free college, and this is where Fur Coat Blues, this is where I like about what I like about him. He's not a supporter of the whole free college thing, and I'll explain that. He doesn't support the idea of free university and all that. He supports the idea of free community college. And I will say this, community college is just as good as regular college, guys. Let's be real here. It's the same diploma, just different college name on it. And if you want my honest opinion, I think people should be going to trade school over college. I think trades are way more important now, seeing how after the federal government has federalized student loans and has taken over student loans, they are really pushing that and promoting, universities and everything. And I think it just got flooded. The industry is just flooded now. You know what I mean? And it's hard to find a job because everyone has a degree for this, and that. No one's going to trade school really. You mean like HVAC? You mean my father's done HVAC for plenty of years. He owns a company out on Long Island. You mean my father is long gone now. He passed it down to my little sister, right? She's 34 years old, right? Living in New York under Governor Mika. And you know what? HVAC is a great company. HVAC is a great industry to get into. There's other industries I can go on and on and on about. You know what I mean? But hey, I definitely liked his idea of supporting free community college. I think though he should expand on that. I think free trade school would be better, not community college. I feel trade school would be better. I definitely support the idea of giving grants, more grants for trade school. I think we should be, you mean, promoting trade school a lot more too. I mean, that's a bill I'm actually writing right now currently. I mean, like trade schools are actually one of them, like, are actually pretty important. I mean, that's where like you go to if you want to become a mechanic, an electrician, a plumber, HVAC, which is heating and air conditioning, by the way, if you guys don't know what HVAC is, a trucker. You know what I mean, all these different industries that are crucial to our society. I mean, you go to trade school, and I think that's what people should be going is trade school. But yeah, I will definitely say this. I endorse the nomination of Fur Coat Blues. I really hope he gets, and I really hope my fellow assemblymen support him. I think he is a great pick. I definitely believe he'll do his job well for Dixie. And if he doesn't, you can hold me responsible for especially endorsing him. Next up is the Secretary of Finance and Infrastructure. Now this is a key one, okay? This is a key one. I'm gonna mention my little iffies about this candidate, just for one of the statements he said. However, this one's crucial because the Secretary of Finance and Infrastructure is not only the person that's going to be rebuilding Dixie with aid and in helping rebuild our infrastructure. I mean, they're the ones that are going to be funding. They're the ones that are going to be like allocating money. You know, what I mean, to rebuild your homes. You know, for those who are affected by Barry. I'm definitely going to be heavily working with him too, because I want to build, like you guys all saw my platform. I want to build our own Delta Works, like what the Dutch have in the Netherlands. I think we need that. I think we need our own Delta Works. I think we need extensive dikes, levees, dams, surge barriers. I think that would help prevent another Hurricane Harvey or Hurricane Barry or Hurricane, Mira or Irma, all right? I think that would help a lot. And I think the federal government should help pay for it. I'm sorry if they don't want to pay for it, that's just not fair. Okay? They're going to Why not? Why wouldn't you want to fund this idea? Why wouldn't you want to prevent the flooding from a hurricane? I mean, you can't prevent hurricanes. We don't have some magic pixie dust we can dump into the sky to prevent weather from happening. All right? You mean we don't have these Tesla arcs that can just like that could be like Moses and like say let my people free and tell a freaking hurricane to go away. You mean so? We definitely need something to prevent these floods. And I think if we could prevent these floods, we're not only going to save our country a heck of a lot of money, we're going to save a lot of lives, and we're going to save a lot of time. So that's just me. Anyways, the nomination that Governor Block denied proposed was Robespierre Boy for the Secretary of Finance and Infrastructure. I just really quickly asked him a couple questions. I asked him what's he going to do to rebuild Dixie, how is he going to prepare Dixie, and whatnot. What's his idea on expanding our energy? He tried telling me that Hurricane Harvey, right? Like or not Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Barry, right? He said that the relief aid, right, the relief, etc., is not really under him, which makes no sense because he's the Secretary of Finance. That's the thing that I don't like about what he said. He's the secretary. I don't think he understands his job entirely. He's the one that's going to be allocating money to fund these projects if they pass the assembly, right? He has to budget it, right? So he's going to have a lot of work to do when it comes to preparing Dixie with this type of dam and dike, like I have proposed in my platform. And he's also going to be heavily working with the Hurricane Barry Relief Aid Act for Dixie. I mean, that I proposed to the federal government. Hopefully, hopefully hopefully the speaker pushes it through because it has to be pushed through. Like they need it now. All right, I'm sorry, but we only have a $9 billion surplus right now. All right, and I've proposed to legalize marijuana and tax the heck out of it. Right, not tax the heck out of it, put 15% tax on it, so we can fund our schools, not fund this project. You mean my fellow Republican assemblyman, is proposing a bill that would take that tax that I proposed, and all the profits, or 75% of the profits from it, would go to our schools, funding our schools. And I think that's important. So, and I mean, that's another thing that the Secretary of Finance is going to be working with. I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't think he understands fully. He did say, though, however, he is a supporter of expanding our nuclear power, and that's the thing that's going to really, that's the thing that really ticked me, and that's what I like about him. He believes in nuclear energy, and we should be pushing nuclear energy, and we should be pushing for fusion energy. We should be pushing for nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion has no radiation. It produces helium. What are we going to do with helium except for make 1 billion balloons full of helium? I mean, it has no harm. Just don't stand where the helium's coming out because it'll just take away the oxygen and it'll suffocate you if you're standing right there where the helium's coming out of. But other than that, it's harmless. I mean, and we should be pushing for fusion. We're so close as a civilization to nuclear fusion. I can't stress this enough, man. I feel like this is the reason why nuclear power is the way it is competition. I think we should be competing with people like France. I mean, I think we should be doing what they do with our nuclear power in general. I think we should be pushing for a nuclear reactor that recycles nuclear waste. Why is that such a bizarre idea? I mean, like APG on the other hand, my opponent, he was so scared. He was claiming how he was so scared about nuclear energy and a nuclear power plant because it might flood. It might be. I mean, another. It might happen. We might have basically what Japan has with Fukushima. Okay, no, that doesn't happen in the United States because we have regulations that are we have the strictest regulations on nuclear energy. I don't think anyone really understands it. After Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island, we got scared, like completely scared. We haven't had a nuclear disaster like 3 Mile Island, right? Since 3 Mile Island, which was in 1979. So mind you, we've had these things for over 40 years, these regulations, and nothing's happened. When Fukushima happened, we switched our regulations, right, to prevent flooding. Now, nuclear power plants are required to have their generators above sea level, with the building being waterproof, with watertight sealed doors. I mean, and it's impossible for these backup generators to flood, and that's what happened with Fukushima. They freaking put the generators in the basement, which makes no damn sense to me because the freaking place would flood if a tsunami hit, right? So when the generators flooded, there was no power to supply the pumps with energy to flow water into the reactor. That is literally how. How a nuclear reactor works in a hurricane is they go to backup, right? They go to a backup plan. They shut down the reactor. They shut down all vital, like not all vital, but all non-needed energy, right? Basically, they're on emergency lights. They have backup generators running. They keep the pumps running. They turn the reactor off, right? But they keep backup generators running throughout the hurricane so that it supplies water, right? Fresh water to to these reactors. Fresh hard water, by the way, not fresh water from like the local spring. Hard water, right? To keep these reactors cold. And like if the generator floods and there's no way to keep the water flowing, you don't want to put the reactor back on because it takes a little bit. I mean, that can cause a meltdown because of how long it takes. I mean, so what has the United States done? They made regulations. We've made regulations towards making sure a Fukushima doesn't happen in Texas or Florida or any place that has a nuclear reactor. I don't understand, and I'm sorry, but the mentality that we as a nation have when it comes to nuclear power is sad. You want to go full energy, you want to go full green, I support it. But not just with wind and solar. I'm sorry, but solar power is not that great right now. All right, it's not as effective. If it's on a personal house and you're running your own personal house with solar panels, perfect. It works. But on a national level, it will not work. Unless you're sticking these freaking satellites right next to the sun, and you ain't getting as much energy as what you would, with them next to the sun, because it loses energy. Sunlight loses energy. The energy that we gain from the sunlight with solar panels, it loses over time as it goes through space. So that's why solar panels aren't as effective as a nuclear power plant that literally can power cities. Windmills, on the other hand, windmills have a life expectancy of 25 years at the most before they have to be replaced. Because they're just, outdated. Nuclear power plants can last up to 60 to 80 years if they just keep updating small parts. It's literally that simple. And it costs a lot more, yes, but the production of energy is cleaner. There is literally no pollution with nuclear waste other than steam and nuclear waste. The nuclear waste is stored on site for years until it's safe enough to transport. And 2, we store them inside of lead casts and bury them in a freaking mountain out in Nevada. So I don't understand why people are so scared. Concrete and lead prevent gamma radiation from the nuclear waste from exiting. It's pretty simple. It's not as bad as people think. So I think we should definitely steer away from that. And that's why I am endorsing the nomination of Robespierre Boy for the Secretary of Finance and Infrastructure, because he believes in nuclear energy, and I think that he can help break that mentality of being scared of nuclear energy. So, anyways, so let's talk about some other states real quickly. And just to get this out before we end the live stream. This podcast, I don't really like calling out other states, but I'm going to call it other states. I don't like calling out people in general, but this podcast is going to be more of a calling people out. We're going to be speaking about Lincoln. I don't know why they changed the name to Lincoln. I liked Great Lakes more, but Lincoln's cool. It reminds me of Abe Lincoln, which I definitely like. Abe Lincoln's my hero from the past. However, I'm not happy with where they're going. They're going way too far left, and it's not what President Lincoln wanted. Know that for a fact. Honest Abe would not want them to go this far left, to the point that they're infringing upon people's rights. This one, it's just an automatic weapons ban, which, to be fair, I think it kind of goes. I think it should be contested because it violates federal law, and I think that should be looked at. I know that states have the right to regulate, their own gun rights, but what about FFLs? Federal firearm licenses. Do those holders get to keep their firearms? Or do they have to move because you're too greedy as a state to recognize that they have an a Class 3 FFL, which is one of the hardest federal firearm licenses to get. That is the hardest class to get, is a Class 3. Right? You basically need to be a manufacturer, right? You need to be basically a manufacturer. You gotta be either a gun owner or a gun shop owner, and a really good one, and pass all these different background checks. It's insane. Like, the process takes over a year, I've heard. And not just that, Great Lakes has gun manufacturers. So what? Now they can't freaking produce firearms for the military because you wanted to ban firearms or automatic weapons? It's kind of dumb how you did this, like how you played this out. You think that you literally wrote this bill? The Assembly literally wrote this bill thinking that every single citizen owns an automatic rifle. A fully automatic rifle, or a machine gun, quote unquote. The way that they the way that they described the terms is ridiculous as well. Listen to this. I have the two definitions. Automatic means a weapon which can fire rounds consistently simply by holding down the trigger. You could have gone a little more specific on that, okay? Because not all guns are like that, okay? Gatling guns, for example, people still own them. That's a full automatic machine gun, quote unquote. You want to know what happens? You're not holding down the trigger. You're constantly rotating, right? You're constantly rotating this like little I want to say a crank. Okay, it's a crank, and as you crank, right, the firing pin gets pulled back constantly, right, and it's able to fire off rounds. And guess what? That technically isn't an assault weapon under this. Let's look up the correct definition of an assault weapon. All right, it's pretty understanding what an assault weapon is. An assault weapon is a term used in the United States to define some type of firearms. Definitions vary among regulation of jurisdictions. Okay, cool. But what exactly does it mean? Well, one of them is a magazine-fed military rifle that can be set for automatic and semi-automatic fire. So what does this mean? Your M4A1s that are used by the military, your AK-47, guns that are able to switch between automatic and full semi-automatic. And if you really want to get technical, I am giving you the Merriam-Webster definition, okay? And they're explaining it a lot differently here. An automatic weapon, sorry, not assault weapon, but an automatic weapon, right? I kind of got that wrong. Let me look up an automatic weapon definition real quickly for you guys. All right, an automatic firearm continuously fires rounds as long as there is ammunition being fed and or a trigger or crank is being pressed or used. So a crank. They're saying a crank because one of the examples for an automatic firearm, literally right here, for Merriam-Webster, is a Gatling gun. It's a Gatling gun. A Gatling gun is an automatic weapon, but under your definition, it's not banned. It's not an automatic weapon under your definition. A semi-automatic weapon means a weapon which can fire a single round with each pull of a trigger. Okay, a little more juice here, please. I would appreciate that, because does this mean a bolt action? Because it fires a single round every time I pull the trigger, as long as I cock that bolt back. You gotta be more specific with these definitions, Assemblyman. Like, please, you gotta be more specific. This is what happens. This is how bills can be misunderstood, and this is why I don't like. Like, let's talk about some other things. I mean, they have the way that they word certain regulations makes no sense. I mean, it makes no sense to me how some of these regulations, like the sale or purchase of modifications which make other firearms behave as though they were automatic weapons, is hereby illegal in the state of Great Lakes, which I thought the state was Lincoln, okay? But here's the thing that I don't like. This bill is poorly written with grammar. It makes the state look like a joke, okay? They're using is for plural things. They're stating modifications, meaning more than one modification. The possession of modifications, quote unquote, right, is quote unquote hereby illegal. So it should say the possession of modifications are hereby illegal, not is hereby illegal. That's improper grammar. They do it again. The possession in section 4, restrictions of possession, in 1B, the possession of modifications as defined in section 3, subsection 2 is hereby illegal. Again, you're using is for plural things. That is just poor grammar. You're making the state look like a joke. I'm not even trying to be mean here, but you want to call yourself an assemblyman, you got to take the position seriously, and I hate to say it, being serious and professional also means reviewing your bill and making sure there's no grammatical errors, because I'm sorry, you look like a joke right now. It's honestly a joke. And mind you, yeah, automatic weapons, shouldn't be owned by everyone. I agree. But we have laws in the United States on a federal level which state that you can. And I think if you have an FLL, especially Class 3, and they grant you the right to own a firearm under federal law, you should be allowed to override this state bill, right? And say, well, no, I'm a Class 3 FFL holder, and I have the right to own an automatic weapon. I feel like that should be allowed. And you know what? Shame on the state of Lincoln and the assembly for even like passing a bill with so many grammatical errors and just being very poor on definitions and just not. I'm not even trying to be mean here, just being lazy in general. I mean, but whatever. Anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. That was my one call out for the day. I would call out Governor Mika for her ban on pistols from police. They're not allowed to have pistols on them. They got to be in the car, yada yada yada. But that's old news. I mean, there's a bunch. When I get the juicy articles and juicy news, I will let you guys know. I'll keep you in the loop. When I get the scoop, I'll keep you in the loop. All right. Anyways, guys, my name is Assemblyman Chris Frost. I am here with the Blaze TV. You guys can check us out on our subreddit at ModelUSTheBlazeTV, the Blaze TV. We're also doing an opinion poll. Please fill out that opinion poll. You can check me out on Twitter at ChrisFrostGOP. That's Chris Frost GOP. As well as come and check out the Republican Party here in Dixie, the Dixie GOP. The logo in the middle of the screen here is the new Republican logo for the state of Dixie. Yes, the state party logo. Looks beautiful, to be fair. It looks a lot better than the regular GOP logo, but won't shun. But yeah, anyways, guys, hope you all have a great day. Hope you all have a great week and great weekend. God bless you all. God bless the great state of Dixie, and God bless these United States of America. Have a great night.